New Media Lab presents This Must Be Heard, a recurring podcast featuring discussions of Delaware County Community College's events, achievements, and initiatives. Today's special roundtable episode features a chat about the challenges and rewards of being a mom in college.
Hey everyone, I'm Dionne, and I am honored to be here with some amazing women this evening. We are all moms, and we are all non-traditional students here at Delaware County Community College. We are navigating life, and we are sitting here at the round table tonight to discuss motherhood and being a student. So, Shakia, Jean Marie, Jeannine, welcome into this space.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. Nice to see everyone.
Thank you for having me tonight. I'm delighted to be a part of this conversation.
It's great to be here. This is one of the things I'm really excited about in my life. So it's about, going to college. So I'm really happy to be able to be with you amazing moms to have this discussion tonight.
So, getting right into question one, ladies. Well, how old are your children? When did you guys decide to come back to DCC? And what made you decide that you were ready to come back to college in the first place?
My children are ages 25. My daughter Isabella is 25, and my son Carmen is 22. And I decided to enroll back in college because I came home one day and I realized I'm an empty nester. Both of my children were in college, and I thought, well, it's always been a dream of mine to do so. So I decided to go out to Delaware County and start my journey.
When my youngest was starting high school, I decided to come back. And my kids are now 28, 24, and 19. And I just felt like it was finally time for me to make this happen in my life because I had dreamed about it for so long.
I have adult children, and I also have a 12-year-old at home. So my oldest is 32. I have a 28, 23, and as I stated, 12. So I have a school-age child. And I got laid off last year. And I decided that this was my time to do something for me.
That's wonderful, Dionne. And just for my own story, this is my third time coming back to college. Originally, when I started about 15 years ago, I had a medical condition in which I had to stop two different occasions. So this is my third time. I've been in school for about, I want to say almost a year and a half now. I'm almost done. Third time is the charm. So I just knew that I wanted to come back. I wanted to finish this, and I just knew that it just didn't sit right if I didn't.
So let's get into question two. Ladies, what is one of the most challenging things that you face when being a mom and being a college student?
I would say for me, one of the most challenging things is working full time and doing a good job on your full time job. And then personally, I feel that college is also not necessarily a job, but it's something that I want to do well and I want to really work hard at. And it's really about time management. It's about prioritizing. It's about instead of, sitting hypothetically watching Netflix or the Food Network, well, I better get sitting down on a Sunday and get to my lectures and start writing my paper.
Now I work full time. I have two of my children are at home, my 19-year-old and my 24-year-old, but um, I also have elderly parents that both have dementia, their power of attorney, like just a lot of, and a husband, a house, a lot of moving parts. So I feel like, you know, one of the most challenging things is I will have set in my mind, oh, I'm going to do my homework on X night. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then inevitably something comes up and gets in my way.
I think that the challenging piece is making sure my son is also getting good grades while I'm here focused on getting my work done. So it's not just making sure that my grades are good, but I have to stay on him to make sure that his grades are good as well. Making dinner and doing some things. And a lot of times I have to say no to a social life, but I have to make sure that my son gets to his activities, he gets his work done, and I get my work done as well. And I maintain the commitments, the things that I have committed to in helping other people navigate challenges and pressures of parenting.
So I'm still mom, but a little different. So I'm more so going through not parenthood, but daughterhood. So I do have older parents, particularly my dad, who sometimes has issues. And I know, like, for me, there were just different things that came up. And I'm like, oh my goodness, like I have to be at his doctor's appointment or he's sick and I have this work. This is crazy. But at least I think the most beneficial thing was that there's different resources. If different things are going on, you can talk to your advisor, you can work with your professors. So again, I think collectively we're all agreement, like time, you just can't juggle everything. And then wanting to still be like a good parent, daughter, mother. So I do think that these are very important issues. And so with that said, moving along to question 3, ladies. What are you guys most enjoying about being a college student?
I love the sense of accomplishment. I love that I've learned to have faith over fear. I hadn't been to college, or I had never been to college, and I haven't been in high school in 40 years. So coming into this new world of learning with all these young little Einsteins that can work a computer and tablets and do it all, it was very intimidating. But I have to say, that all the students that I've run into, that in all the classes that I've taken, they've been so helpful. None of them would ever make you feel less than.
Like everyone at Delaware County Community College, the staff, the administration, the professors, they all bend over backwards to help you to be successful. They want everyone that's coming to school to be successful, and they are very, they just make that very clear. So I just, as far as what I enjoy the most, it's just meeting the other students, meeting the professors, and just like Jean Marie said, that sense of accomplishment. And I have, I feel so much smarter.
I know, like, just being around other smarty pants or smart people and even just older people, it did make me feel comfortable. Just seeing other people want to strive, it made me kind of like get, my bounce back. Like, it feels good to be around people I can have enlightening conversations with again. So you do get that challenge and that boost. So I'm just enjoying being a student, non-traditional, just my journey, my walk. So
That was real good. Let's get to question number 4. What advice do you ladies have for parents or caregivers that may be thinking about coming back to college and getting their degrees?
My advice would be, coming from a personal space, was lose the self-doubt. Do it. Ladies, we have it in us to be superheroes. We can be a super mom. We can work full time. We can get our children where they need to be. But there has to be a space for us too. And that is so magazine-ish, but I really have come to embrace that. I do believe that it is important for self-care. I believe it's important to really just, like what you just talked about earlier, being with the smarty pants. I was worried about these young kids, and I've learned so much from them.
I can't tell you how long it took me to finally submit my application at Delaware County Community College. I talked about it. I thought about it for a while, and I was even like kind of nervous to tell my husband, like, hey, I want to go back to school now. He was
Mhm.
so supportive, but I just hesitated for a while and I finally just did it. But my advice would be don't overthink things. Just send
Mhm.
in the application because at community college, it's really inexpensive. I don't know what it is, what it costs now, but it's, nominal. And just put in the application and sign up for one class and just dip your toe in the water, get started, and
Mhm.
don't think about it too much. Because if you just take that one step and you take that one class, and after that, you'll just keep going.
So I would say, as far as advice for people coming back to school or caregivers, I would say give yourself grace. I think like
Mhm.
that's one of the biggest things that we don't do. We come in with this plan, like, okay, I'm taking these classes at this time, I'm going to be finished by this date, and then we start like beating ourselves up. And I know like some of my friends who are older too, who are like, I wish I was done already, or I was supposed to be done, my children might be disappointed or my friends or family. And it's always about keeping that positivity because one, you're still on your journey. So even if you have to take your time, you're still getting it done. But I think two, it's definitely in planning and timing. And again, if you're a caregiver or if you have a family and outside things, time is important when you're coming back to school and being able to focus.
I would say have a good network. My bestie registered me during COVID in 2020. She said, "I'm putting your information down now," and she put it down. Did I come then? No. But the college had all of my information when I decided that I was ready. I didn't think that I could navigate coming back to school while working full time, doing all of the things that I had to do. But I feel like I was blessed. And I say to anyone that's struggling or thinking about it, I say you owe it to yourself. If you're thinking about it, you owe it to yourself to do it. You take care of everyone else.
Mhm.
You take care of parents, you take care of children. Take care of you. Do something that you love, something that you want to do.
So, ladies, what makes you most proud of your time here at Delaware County Community College?
For me, my proudest moment is this sense of accomplishment, this sense of pride, this sense of I can see my children looking at me like, look at my mom go. And I can see my husband when I don't want to do my homework. He's like, Jean Marie, get up those stairs. He jumps in front of me, and I'm like, because he knows how I'll feel when it's not done. So he's a constant, he's a constant support. I am crossing that finish line, and I'm wearing that cap and gown, and it's going to happen one day because I've dreamt my whole life for it. So if I can put two children through college and raise a family, I sure as heck can raise myself to get it done.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
You know what, Jean Marie, I have had that same vision in my mind of wearing a
Mhm,
cap and gown
mhm,
and having my family around me. I've been dreaming about that for so many years.
mhm.
And you're going to do it, and I'm going to do it.
That's right. That's
um,
we're all going to do
and
it.
one of the things that I have felt so proud of was being inducted into the Phi Theta Kappa Honor Society. Because when I was in high school, I never achieved honors because at the school that I went to, you had to have a certain grade point average in every class, and math was always my nemesis. So I never had that high enough grade in math to get honors.
Mhm.
So I said, boy, it took me until I was in my 50s to be an honor student. But when I got that invitation, and I got the letters from, you're on the president's list and we'd like you to be in Phi Theta Kappa. And then my family came to the induction and we took pictures and like I had my little certificate. Like I felt really proud of myself and my family felt proud of me.
And I can speak for myself too, as far as Phi Theta Kappa. I'm proud to be a part of Phi Theta Kappa. I know, like, coming into school, one of my goals, like, when I started looking at just like the website of all the awards you can win, just the different committees, I was like, wow, like, by the end of next year, I want to get these awards. I want to get the scholarship award. I want to be at that banquet. I want to be at this banquet. And I was like, there's different things that, or positions, or just groups that I really want to be a part of. And so I didn't think that I would have necessarily a high role in some of the groups, but I just really enjoy being a part of that. Like I knew I don't want to say smart, but I knew was intelligent. But it does feel good to strive to come back at my age and just piggybacking off you, Jeannine, when you say invested. I don't necessarily have well, I don't want to say there probably are some people that's negative, right? I am an older student, but I do feel as though people are invested. Like, hey, how's school going? How are you doing? You need help with math, or do you need this? Do you need that? And it does feel good. Like, hey, people are, watching me, and,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes you want to continue. And so I also say this last thing for me personally, again, I always have to revert to pain because I've carried it for a long time. But I'm proud of the fact that I was able to come here, do what I said I was going to do, first of all, be almost done in my journey, and have been able to take this information and push myself to go back to having, I guess, a social life outside of school. So I'm proud that I was able to push myself to go back to just being myself again, and just my old business, if that makes sense.
Mm,
Like old life, of
yeah.
feeling alive again. So yeah.
I will say that helping other non-traditional students find their footing and navigate through their challenges here at the college, or just getting them information, or they'll see me, I'll see them, and they'll come ask me a question, or they'll say, I didn't know that I could be a part of that, but because you are, I know that I can. And so that makes me proud to know that others are watching me and I can help someone else, because ultimately that's what I enjoy the most, is being able to help and being able to give back. And that's one of the reasons why I work in the Student Resource Center, so that I can give back. And I'm proud of that. And just one more thing, I thought that I was going to fail a class. And then I thought I had a C in a class. And I told my daughter, who's 28, oh, I have a C. I'm getting a C. And she didn't say anything. And then when I found out that actually had an 89.7, which unbeknownst to me is actually an A, and I shared that with her, she said, now that's what I expect from you. She said, because I could not get excited for you when you had this C. She said, because one thing I could never do was bring home a C. She said, because mom, just like you told me, you're not average. And you're there doing it, and you are going to do the dang thing to the fullest. And I'm proud of you. So that was a proud moment that actually happened to me last week. So
No.
it's it makes me very proud when my children are holding me accountable to things that I held them accountable to when they were in school. And so I can't get a C.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I was happy with it, because I thought I was going to get an F. She said no. You can do better. So that's what makes me proud. And everyone makes you feel like family. So I really appreciate that. And ladies, I thank each and every one of you for taking the time out to be at this round table. Shakia, Jean Marie, Jeannine. This has been a great discussion, and I cannot wait until we all come together again to do something even more amazing than what we just did. So, thank you.
Thank you, ladies. It was such a pleasure. I really enjoyed this conversation. I feel so good after talking to you guys, and I'm just looking forward to watching this episode. And I hope people feel encouraged and uplifted.
Thank you, ladies, for having me on this roundtable. It was a complete honor and pleasure. And I felt such a connection with all of you. And I really do feel like a really growing friendship has just formed right here at the roundtable.
I couldn't agree more, Jean Marie. I really enjoyed meeting all of you. I hope we get to see each other in person soon, maybe after the break. Thank you for including me, and I'm so thankful that we got to have this conversation together.
Thank you all for watching us moms here at the roundtable. And we're out.
You've been listening to New Media Lab's This Must Be Heard, brought to you by the DCCC Office of Athletics and Campus Engagement. Today's hosts and producers were Dionne Harrison and Shakia Gordon-Hutt. Our panelists today were Jean Marie Maniaci and Jeannine Kelly. Post-production support was provided by Moose Sela and Sarpjan Ozjan. New Media Lab's co-executive producers are Shakia Gordon-Hutt and Moose Sela. Victoria Colbreth and Samuel Larson designed our cover art, and I am your announcer, McKady Amperin. Special thanks to the Director of Campus Engagement, Allison Gleason, and our faculty advisor, Professor Maria Boyd. Be sure to like and leave a comment on this episode and follow us on Instagram at DCCC_New Media Lab for more great content. Thanks for listening.